Hey there, and congratulations. We've all made it to the start of another new year. And with that in mind, lots of us are thinking about setting goals and resolutions and having new ideas for how we can progress in the new year. Now, I want to talk to you today about my 12-month self-development plan and how you can formulate your own, which will lead you on to success this new year. So, a 12-month self-development plan typically includes setting specific goals for the new year. But I'm not all about goals, as you'll have seen in a previous video, so I'm going to talk about how I'm going to use goals and put them into systems to help push me forwards and help to use this self-development plan really to stay motivated, to keep me on track and to hold me accountable for what I want to achieve this year. Also, I'm going to try and use it to make sure that it makes me the best possible version of me. So your self-development plan can include goals in any area of your life. It's your plan. They can be your career goals, they can be your physical health goals, they can be personal growth, maybe in financial or relationships. You use this self-development plan to create the template for what you want to achieve this year. So why do we look to set goals or have resolutions? Well, usually it's because we all want to be slightly better this new year, because the new year seems like an opportunity where the door is open again and we can walk through it. What we need to realise is actually that door's always there and we've got plenty of opportunities to go through it. So if you do stumble on the way, you don't need to wait until the next new year. With that said, goals are really important because they can actually help us keep our focus and keep motivated to stay on track to achieving what we want to do. Now, I spoke previously about systems instead of goals. Well, a good place to create a system is to start with a few of the goals you've got in mind, because let's be honest, we can talk systems all the time, but we tend to have an idea that we want to lose 5 kilos and we want to run 5 minutes faster for the 5k. Now, they're really powerful because that can then inform the system. So what I'm going to say is I want to lose 8 kilograms this year because I've eaten lots in 2022. Now, that's all well and good, but just saying lose 8 kilograms isn't going to get me anywhere. So what I want to do with my system and how I'm going to create my self-development plan, which I'll show you later, is talk about the steps I'm going to take to losing this weight. So my systems will be around eating healthier, they'll be around exercising more regularly, rather than setting that arbitrary lose 8 kilograms goal. Now, there's absolutely a place for these goals within the systems. However, I'm going to try and rephrase them just using some kind of project planning, managery type jargon, and I want to call them milestones. And for me, it's important to call it a milestone rather than a goal, because a milestone suggests that it's part of the journey rather than the final destination. So when I do get to the position, hopefully I do, where I've lost that 8 kilos, it doesn't mean that I just stop there, because maybe I could do with losing another couple, but actually also I should review this system and find out whether losing 8 kilograms was healthy. It might be I get to 5 and I need to start increasing my calorie intake, but not putting my fitness on hold. So I'll continue with those healthy systems, but I won't look to lose any more weight. So I want to talk to you about 4 of the different goals, systems, milestones that I've got for this year, and how I'm going to hope to look at making my way to achieving them. So first off is really growing this YouTube channel. And I thought long and hard about what the kind of goal, what the milestone should be for this. And I've set it out trying to increase the number of subscribers I've got up to 100,000. Now, I know at the moment where I've got very few that seems ridiculously aspirational. But I want to be aspirational. I want a target that I'm going to find hard to achieve, because it's going to hopefully push me and motivate me to try really hard. And with some of the other techniques around positive thinking and accepting failure and accepting mistakes, hopefully if I don't make that target, then I'm not going to feel too beat up or too down about it, because actually I can set the same target again for the next year, or I can set an even higher target. Now, how am I going to try and achieve that really quite aspirational target? Well, hopefully I want to do it through providing really valuable content to you guys, because I actually really enjoy filming these videos and trying to get some thoughts and some ideas out there and generating any kind of conversation that I've had with people around that. So I want to improve my ability to actually develop and produce good content. And part of my ability to create better content will be to improve my ability to tell stories. And with that, I'm going to try reading Storyworthy by Matthew Dix to see how that can help me. I've heard many good things about it, so Hopefully this new year you'll be getting much better content from me, better edited, better stories, more informative. I've already spoken to you about my desire to lose 8 kilograms in weight, which is my second aim for this year. I've put on a few pounds over 2022, and I want to see if I can get back down to a fighting fit weight as such. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to look to try and exercise 3 times a week. And I've been very clear to just say exercise because there are different opportunities. So I love cycling. I don't hate running, although that's up for debate. There's the opportunity to do some cross training and to do swimming and so on. And dependent on the time of year, depends on my desire to do each one of those activities. And I don't want to say, right, I'm going to run 3 times a week and cycle twice a week, every week, because I know already that I can't achieve that. I'll get bored, I'll make excuses up. So instead I'll say I want to exercise 3 weeks, and that exercise must be for at least 30 minutes. And that should give me the opportunity to choose what I want to do. So if I'm in the mindset to cycle, then I'll cycle. If I want to run, I'll run. And I'm going to do it that way. And then I'm going to be constantly reviewing this system and how often I'm doing this, because actually if I start to feel really good, then I'll add a 4th day in if it's working for me. If it's not working for me, maybe I'll knock it down to 2 days, but maybe I'll increase the duration to an hour for each session of exercise. Either way, I'm going to use this to try and help me on my gains. However I decide to exercise, I'm going to use that to try and help me hit that 8 kilogram milestone. And as I've said before, if it turns out that actually I get to 5 kilos and I feel really good and really losing the additional weight isn't a good idea, then I'll change my milestone. But what I won't do is I won't change the system. The third goal I've set for myself is to eat better, which seems a little bit of a loose one, but I don't eat badly. I have some fantastic meals. The food, the quality is usually quite good. However, when I say eat better, what I want to try and do is I want to add more salad into my diet. I want to add more, porridge oats and things that release, the healthy carbohydrates and so on. I'm sure someone will tell me I haven't got a clue what I'm talking about nutrition-wise, but that's fine. And really, I just want to try and have more vegetables and have a slightly more Mediterranean diet. Because I think that will aid me on my weight loss journey, but also it should help me to feel better and more awake and alive as a person. Now, to do that, what I'm going to say is, for my evening meals, I'm going to ensure that I have either vegetables or salad at least 4 times a week. And really, everyone's going to be saying, well, you've got your 5 a day or your 7 a day, and I should be doing it every day. But I want to start somewhere that feels achievable, because, some days if I want to have fish and chips, then I'm going to have fish and chips, because if I just tell myself I can't do it all the time, what will happen is I'll be very good for a couple of weeks and then I'll crash and I'll end up not having any healthy food for probably a week or 2 weeks, and that just isn't sustainable. Now finally, the 4th one I want to read more. Now I've been really fortunate over the last year that I've been able to increase the amount I'm reading. But I hear from fellow people on YouTube and out there that they say they read 100 books a year. Now, I don't think I'm going to get to that number, but the target I'm going to set myself is 24 books this year. So I want to try and read one every couple of weeks. And when I talk about reading books, I mean actually serious, decent books such as Storyworthy, such as James Clear's Atomic Habits, which is brilliant. If you haven't read it, I fully recommend that. But maybe every now and then I'll chuck in a fantasy book or a sci-fi book. But finally, one of the key goals I've put in, and I know I said I was only going to share 4, but this 5th one is just going to run around the outside of everything I do, and that's remembering to enjoy myself, remembering to have fun. So really, the idea of enjoying yourself and having fun is going to run through everything. Obviously not to a point where it becomes detrimental, where you give up your goals because it's much more fun to eat pizza, put your feet up and just watch movies. But I should start to enjoy the exercise, I should start to enjoy the healthy food, I should start to enjoy the books and the progress they're giving me. So it's remembering to try and find the fun in these goals, these milestones. Now, I've spoken about my goals and I want to give some ideas for tips of how you can create your own goals. So you'll have seen that what I've done is I've tried to break down those goals into slightly smaller steps by using systems. So I've said that instead of just lose 8 kilos, I'm going to exercise 3 times a week. I'm going to eat healthy food 4 or 5 times a week. I'm going to read more often because maybe I'll read a book on nutrition and that will help me, or maybe I'll read a book on exercise and that will help me. So it's break these goals, your milestones, your systems down so they work for you and they're in small, easily achievable steps. Because what we want is we want that success and that feedback mechanism that tells us we're actually making progress along the track. And we're getting towards meeting those milestones, meeting those goals, which will give us the ability to set our next milestones, our next goals. Maybe they'll be bigger, maybe they'll be bolder, maybe they'll just be to maintain. It will be what works for you. So how else can we be successful with them? Well, maybe it's worth sharing your goals and your self-development plan for the next 12 months with a friend and someone that's also doing something similar, and you can become accountability partners, and maybe you can meet once a week, once a month, and you can look at the progress you're making, how you're getting on with your different goals, your different milestones, and you can discuss about what's stopping you, what's helping you, and sharing that communication, sharing the ability to understand where you're both going can be really powerful. So really, to sum that all up, 12-month self-development plan can be really powerful to try and help us progress this year. What we're going to do is we're going to use our goals to inform our systems, and we're going to use these goals as milestones so they won't become just one arbitrary set in stone thing. We'll be able to move past them. We're going to use the development plan to ensure that our motivation stays high. We're going to find a friend to have as an accountability partner so we can have the communication and we can have the conversation to work out what's working well for us, what's not working well, and how we can drive each other forwards. And we can use them to track our progress to see where we're getting to, how far we've come from where we were 1 month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and we can use that to really encourage ourselves and to make sure that we stay on track, because we're going to have that kind of feedback and achievement award mechanism. So hopefully this 12-month self-development plan will set us on our way to creating good habits. And if you want to know more about creating good habits, then check out the video that I made a couple of weeks ago that is linked in on the screen to the left or right. I keep forgetting. But that's all from me. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If you've got any comments or queries, or you'd love to subscribe, then please do. And please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for your time and have a fantastic day.